Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Doodle Robot and today we're going to do the hashtag Faves 2024. This is brought to you by Jazzy Doodle Designs and I was tagged by Colored by Maya. So I'm going to answer the 25 questions about some of my favorite things or lack thereof. Before we get started, I want to tag everybody. If you see this video and you have a channel and you want to do it, you can tell them Doodle sent you. I don't like leaving anybody out. I don't know who's been tagged and who's not been tagged. The last couple of weeks I've not been watching much YouTube. I'm working on my resume and applying for jobs so I can get a different job. So I'm a little out of touch, but specifically, Happy Catastrophe, Inksmith, Jojoza Hannah, Wendy's Coloring, Coloring with Pat and Wilson, and Be Cozy. I looked, and I don't think they have a Faves video up, so I'll go with that. And like I said, if you see this video and you want to do it, please just tell them Doodle sent you. And yeah, I'm good with that. And you haven't been tagged because nobody should be left out. I feel like I've tried it in the past and just to leave it open to everybody. But it seems like if you don't do that, people don't do it. So when you tag them specifically, you get better response. So unfortunately, that's how it rolls. But today, while I answer the questions, I'm going to be swatching, finally, it's been weeks since I got these, my new Himi Pastel Gouaches. So yes, I'm going to, they're a little dry now, but I spent much time opening the packages and stirring them and getting them ready to swatch, but I've got my swatch all picked out here, all laid out, super not very neat, but nonetheless, I'm going to scooch you down here so I can kind of see you while I swatch. And oh goodness, trying to get organized here and be all able to look at my questions and all that and swatch at the same time. So you're pretty zoomed in there. All right, can I see the camera? Kind of, sort of. Okay, so that makes a weird, I feel like any way I do it, it's going to be a weird shadow. Okay, all right, I think that's okay. So, as you can see, these are the colors that it comes with. Oh, I'll show you the little thing here. That'll be easier. These are the colors that it comes with. I have the, what is it here? The regular pastel gouaches, and I guess these are the bright colors. I don't know. I think there were how many? 1, 2, 3, 24 in this set, and there are in the pastel ones. There are. I'm getting ready to fix those up as well. There's a few. Just an FYI, there's a few overlaps. So from the 24 set, Nude is an overlap, 043. There's another white, which is an overlap. I'm not going to open these that are overlaps. I want to keep them nice. Pale Purple overlaps, and Sky Blue overlaps as well. So I need to move my light source down, I think. Yeah, I think definitely Sky Blue and white are definitely, let me switch my light source around here so it's going to be better for filming low. Oh, that's probably better. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not opening those yet, but here they are. I think that's better. All right. So much getting ready here. Okay, we're gonna start any second now. All right, so we're gonna see how those go. And on my old swatches here, I did a just straight out of the little jelly holder thing on one side, and then I mixed it with a little water on the other side to see how they performed. I'm going to do something similar. Whoa. Sorry. I hit my electric eraser there. I'm going to do something similar here, except I'm just going to go from dark and I'm going to thin it out with some water. So I'm going to make my life easier. All right. Let's see here. Let me find a brush. Okay. So the favorite tags. Now I didn't write the whole question down, but it's like, what's your favorite? Yada, yada, yada. So number one, and we're gonna swatch pearl white here. Number one is, what's your favorite Prismacolor colors? And my favorite Prismacolor colors are lime peel and chartreuse. And then I'm just going to add some water with getting it on my brush here and thin it out. Kind of like I would a watercolor, basically. I have the line there to see how opaque or not opaque it is. I need some paper towel. We got lime peel, chartreuse, grade lavender. Those are definitely my favorites. Some honorable mentions today, because I looked at them today, are, and I wish I could use some of these more, but some are specific. Grade lavender, black cherry, burnt ochre, mulberry, and a discontinued one. Why Prismacolor? Why would you do this? Is Deco Aqua, which is a really light aqua colored color. I'm like, that was one of the most useful ones in the pack. Oh, they paint so nice. That was Naples Yellow. All right, favorite naughty snack. I had to think about this one for a while. I don't know, because you have a favorite one for a while and then you get bored of it and you switch to something else. But my all-time probably favorite unhealthy, it has to be unhealthy snack would be my mother's dip that she made with chips, like Ruffles potato chips, or a Ruffly chip, because it's a thick dip. She made it with sour cream, cottage cheese, and a packet of Lipton onion soup mix. I have elaborated on it in subsequent years, since her passing, but I do use a bit less of the Lipton onion soup mix, and I throw in things like fish sauce and dehydrated onions and onion powder instead of the Lipton onion soup mix, but it's still delicious. It's very rich. I don't have it often because it doesn't really agree with me anymore as an older person now. And it's potato chips and like cheese, none of which are good for you. So yeah, it's an unhealthy snack, but that's an old family favorite that I make from time to time. I haven't made it in probably nearly a year. I thought about it the other day in the grocery store, but I decided to pass because I'm like, no, I don't want to be that unhealthy right now. I'm already unhealthy enough right at the moment. Well, I had too much paint on my brush that time. But that russet red is nice and opaque for sure. Let's see, what are we on? Number 3, favorite pastime not coloring. Well, there's always TV and movies that are kind of like my other thing that I do to relax. But before coloring, it was reading, specifically murder mysteries, and It has also been writing at times, creative writing, like novels, which I've not ever finished one, but oh my gosh. On this one series, I have hundreds and hundreds of pages. It's clearly not just one book, it's a series. Of course, it's a space opera, sci-fi, kind of thing. That was best color name ever. Teeth Yellow Gray. I gotta say, I'm really excited about the Pearl White and the Naples Yellow because I'm gonna get up and get it. Hold on a second. One of my favorite colors in my apple barrel acrylic paints is the antique white color. In Liquitex paint. I like their soft body paints, but they have the same colors, whether it's soft body or hard body or I think it was called Parchment. It's probably similar to Pearl White, and this is a little less yellow than Naples Yellow, but they're great for making colors lighter because they're not pure white, they're off-white. They make the most beautiful, like, lightened colors. Just an FYI. Okay, back to the questions. Favorite Disney character? Yeah, I have a question mark on that one because I don't really watch anything Disney. I saw the things when I was young, like Bambi and Snow White and things like that. I saw Lion King and liked it. I feel like I've seen a few other things. I don't know what they were. I can't pick a favorite Disney character, and I'm assuming these are like classic Disney, not like they now own Star Wars and Marvel and stuff like that. I'm assuming it's a classic Disney character. So I'm gonna have to go with I don't know or care about that one. Number 5. Favorite season, something I do only during that season. Well, my favorite season is rain. I don't care what the season is, just rain. Because, in the desert, it didn't really rain hardly ever. There was a monsoon season that we called the monsoon season, which was late in Arizona, late summer. Mid to late summer. Which some monsoon seasons it actually rained, and it was lovely. But a lot of monsoon seasons, it was just a little bit humid. And it was awful. But in my new place here, rains all the time, and I love it. Doesn't seem to matter. I haven't been here during like the dead summer yet, but all winter it rained, all spring it rained, all fall it rained. I love it. I've loved all of the rain. I don't really care which. I can tell that Latin yellow here is going to be my one of my favorite colors. I don't know that I'll get to use it all that often, but it's pretty awesome. It's kind of like that lime peel of Prismacolor. Okay. What are we on? Favorite drink, and I believe it said it could be alcoholic or non-alcoholic. Well, now that I don't drink caffeine and sugar, my drinks are pretty limited. Before I gave up caffeine and sugar, I made a really great iced tea. I mixed several kinds of teas to get, and a little bit of lemon juice to get a beautiful iced tea. And I was really good at making kind of like a Starbucks drink. I just made these at home. Of coffee and creamer and sugar and, death in a cup, basically. Those were my favorite drinks. Of course, I've always loved soda my whole life. It's like a weakness, soda. But now that I've given up all that stuff, I guess mostly I just drink water. So that's pretty much it. A favorite unhealthy drink would be, there are certain fast food restaurants that have a drink. Jack in the Box is one of them. They have a drink station that gives you all kinds of like zero sugar and caffeine free options. Like they have zero sugar Diet Coke, and it's caffeine free as well. And then they have zero sugar Sprite. But in this little drink contraption thing that they have, you can add flavors like cherry and lemon and vanilla and stuff like that. So yeah, that would have to be my favorite drink, I guess, because I can get a diet caffeine free Coke and I can add cherry to it. So yeah, that would be it, I guess, when I find myself there in one of those places. Okay, let's see here. What's the next question? I can't look at the question and paint at the same time. Oh, favorite quote, number 7, favorite quote. So there's it's from a speech by Theodore Roosevelt. It's called In the Arena. And it is not the critic who counts, not the doer of deeds, something about the critic who points out how the strong man stumbled, but the doer of deeds that actually counts, who's in the arena, who's marred by dust and blood and sweat and stuff like that, is a whole beautiful little, it's kind of a long quote, but the sentiment is good. It's like, you'd much rather be like actually doing the things rather than sitting on the sidelines being a critic. So that's a good one. Another poem that I really like is The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. And that is, two roads diverged in a wood, and in the end he took the road less traveled. I feel like that sums up my life pretty well. Ooh, purple roses, nice. And then I also have a favorite quote by Lao Tzu, attributed to Lao Tzu from the Tao Te Ching. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So those would be my favorite quotes. My favorite coloring style, and she gives example like color by number, horror, classic, fantasy. I like all of those things. Well, I only have one color by number book, but it's fine. I like, altering pages. So I get really passionate about those, and those tend to turn out the best, I think. So I'm going to have to go with altering pages, especially when I really get to like dig in there and alter them significantly. Most pages I alter slightly here and there, just because I can't resist. I just see it differently. Book genre. Well, I already said it. It's murder mysteries. I have 2 that really stick out in my mind as super well done. And that would be Elizabeth Peters did the Amelia Peabody Adventures, which is awesome. This is a lady out of her time, fish out of water kind of story, where she's in turn of the century, like the 1800s turning to the 1900s. That's a lot of paint there. And she and her husband, Radcliffe, I think is his name. She passed away, and so, there's none being written anymore. But she's wannabe archaeologist, and if she were a man, she would be an archaeologist, but, you know, she wasn't born in the right time. However, she is rich. I'm peeling the stuff off my paintbrush because it's dissolving in my hand. But she's rich, so, you know, she doesn't really have to follow society's rules because, you know, the rich people don't have to do that. So she goes every I think winter in England. They go to Egypt to excavate, you know, the Egyptian tombs and stuff. And there's always a murder, but, you know, she doesn't wear a corset. She wears men's clothing, and it's just hilarious because she's a very modern day feminist, but in the wrong time. So those are good. The other one that I've really liked is called the Pendergast series. Hopefully I'm saying it right. I didn't look it up, and I don't know who writes it. Oh, Lincoln Child and somebody else with him, I think. That one has been good. All right, so let's look at these here. Those are pretty good colors. I'm super excited about, like I said, these two colors. Latin yellow is really good. Teeth yellow gray is a good color, kind of along the lines of those very light neutrals. I like that there's another brown to go with the browns here. That's really helpful. There are now a great deal of greens. And there were already a lot of blues here, so there's not really a true blue, but there's some blue-greens, which is very helpful. And, you know, the pinks are good too. This is a good set. I think it complements the set that I already had really well. Okay, so we've swatched our new paints. How do they stack up to the swatch here? Drastically different, as usual. So, not close at all. Like, there's lilac, and there's lilac. There's sunny blue and sunny blue. Yeah, not very close at all. Teeth yellow gray, not very close. Okay, so, yeah, we're not going to probably be keeping that because it's not close at all. So, yeah. So now I'm going to be prepping these a little bit while I answer questions. So, they've been in storage and stuck. You know, because I've been moving and starting new jobs and stuff like that. So I'm going to be prepping these while I talk. So what's the next? What do we leave off on? Book genre, movie. Oh, favorite movie. Well, yeah, I don't really have one favorite movie. I know y'all think it's going to be like Star Wars or Star Trek or something, but yeah, you'd be surprised. That's my favorite genre, sci-fi and fantasy. But I have a few favorites that I listed here. Oh gosh. It's a little difficult to stir. You want to stir with a toothpick. Lost in Translation is one of them. That's a current favorite. Singing in the Rain has been a favorite since I was a teenager. Gene Kelly, awesome. Probably #1 best movie ever. I know people want to pick that other one and, you know, Casablanca, but yeah, no, it's Singing in the Rain. Casablanca's good. Don't get me wrong. Another one would be Serenity, and another one I'm going to count as a movie is the Sherlock series, because those were little movies on BBC. Or here in America, that would be PBS they were on. That's kind of like a favorite from a whole bunch of different genres. And I couldn't even think of a sci-fi one, which is odd. Because I like Star Wars, I like Blade Runner, I like The Matrix. And as a genre, those are the ones I want to see first. But it's kind of like I'm just into the whole genre. I mean, The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh, That could be the best, like, movie series ever made, I think. And which one would I pick? I couldn't even pick one. Star Wars, might be one of the best sci-fi movie series ever made, but what's going to compete with it? Except Star Trek, which, in that case, I think Star Wars is better. But Star Trek's strength is its series, I think, personally. The long series format. Okay, we're off topic. Moving on. Number 11, a favorite pizza topping. Okay, so here's how I like my pizza. I'm a traditionalist. You're not going to find me putting pineapple on the pizza. Although it's fine. I could eat it. I'm not a picky eater. I like my pizza with, if I can only have one, I would probably get pepperoni. But I like my pizza, especially, when I make it at home. I like it with pepperoni, and then I like a salad on it. I like onion, mushroom, peppers, pepperoncinis, olives. Every vegetable that can go on it should go on it. Tomatoes. Oh, tomatoes are delicious on a pizza. Yeah, every vegetable. Just the one meat of pepperoni is fine. I don't need the sausage or ham or anything like that. I just like it with a little pepperoni and tons of veggies. That's yummy. Okay. Favorite song? I wrote nothing down. I got nothing there. There's lots of good songs. And, I made the whole autistic video. So I'm out of the closet there. One of my, how some autistic people, they don't like certain textures of foods and stuff like that. I don't have that. But one of my things that just drives me bonkers is noise. And while I like music, and if I'm listening to music, that would be like all I would like to be doing, When I was in high school, we had records that, they go in a circle, yeah. While I was listening to the music, I like to be reading the lyrics and looking at the little fold-out thing that came in the record. And I just like to be single-tasking like that, just taking in the music like that. I'm not a multitasker. I don't like multitasking. But yeah, if music is playing while I'm trying to work or concentrate or something, I just find it like the most annoying thing. And I used to play it in the classroom for kids, but on the days we would play it, by the time, I got past the first 3 classes, I'd have like a raging headache and I was exhausted. And, I'm already doing 9 million things in the classroom for the kids and being on and watching them, do all the things that kids do and, say, hey, don't be doing that, that continual vigilance that you have to have while you're teaching and doing, 300 other things. Yeah, so it's hard for me to pick a favorite. There's lots of songs I like. If it happened in the 80s, it happened. If it didn't happen in the 80s, it didn't happen. So my favorite song would probably be an 80s song. Michael Jackson was huge in my high school days, of course, and then he became weird, but and then I was in love with Prince after that. So I don't know that I'd say that those were my favorites, but they both had some really good songs. There were many, many good songs in the 80s. I'd say something from the 80s or something classical. Or something classical that's a movie score, like Star Trek has awesome music. Harry Potter has awesome music. Stuff like that. Okay. So, scent. Same problem with scent. I can't stand smells. Perfume, chemical smells, none of that stuff comes into my house. It got so bad for a while that only like I had to get rid of all chemical things from my house. There's a few things that are back now, but like I reached some weird level of we can't take any chemicals at all. It sends me into like a coughing fit and stuff. I don't know if that's chemical sensitivities or if that's an autistic thing or what that is, but well, that's another thing. So I'm gonna have to, for scents, I'm gonna have to go with something like cooking food, like when you cook something in the crock pot. Ooh, that smell. After about 3-4 hours, that smells really really good. It's like and I have another 4 hours to wait till I can eat that yumminess. So something like that, cooking in the crock pot, or I've only made cookies like 3 times in my life, but cookies baking in the oven or something like that. Some kind of yummy food cooking that has a really strong scent that you're like, oh, when is that going to be ready? Because I want to eat it now. So some scent like that. Favorite character, and why is it your favorite character? Well, okay. Do you guys really need me to answer this? Can you not think of a character that I might think is my favorite character? Okay. It's Mr. Spock, of course. Okay. I think that went without saying. But other characters, I'm going to list them for you, and you can tell me what they have in common. This became clear to me in October when I discovered, my aforementioned discovery. I'm going to list them now. My favorite all-time characters have been Spock, Kwai Chang Caine from the original Kung Fu series of like the 70s, Mr. Monk, that lady from The Closer, I don't know what her name is, the Closer lady, Columbo, and Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. And before, October, November, when I discovered, oh my God, I'm pretty sure I'm autistic. I would have said that these characters have like a single-mindedness. They only care, they're minimalist. They only care about a few things in their life, etc. and so on. And I would have said that that's why I like them. But now I'm like, oh my God, this is kind of like when you hear the autistic traits and you're like, oh, I see why I liked all those characters. They're all probably, on the spectrum somewhere to various degrees. And yeah, they have very admirable qualities, but they're all basically me. It's like, yeah. Most of them wear the same thing every day. The Closer lady carried the same purse for the entire show. They wear the same thing. They do the same thing. They act the same way. They're creatures of habit. Oh, and Sherlock. Very obvious one there. Definitely one of my favorites. In all his incantations. But I especially like Benedict Cumberbatch. But I've liked all the Sherlocks. So, yeah. Revelation there recently. Number 15. How do I pamper myself? I'm really not into pampering myself. I feel like most people would say they like to go to a spa and get massaged and, I don't know, get their nails done. And yeah, that's not me. Now, I grew up in a salon where, my parents cut hair and did facials and did manicures. And so none of that is like, they didn't have the massage part of the salon in their salon. But none of that is like new to me because I can give myself a manicure, I cut my own hair, I dye my own hair, I can do all that stuff. So that's not, that's not like a specialty thing to me personally. There was a time when pampering myself might have been like going shopping, my 20s and 30s maybe, but I don't like to shop anymore. Now I would say that pampering myself is just getting plenty of sleep. That's like the number one thing, I think. And coloring. I feel, especially now when I just don't have the time as much as I used to. A less stressful job that I'm not particularly liking very much. It's fine. It's an easy job. It's not too taxing, but it's not for me. The work schedule doesn't agree with me, and it's not working out. But even though my job is a lot less stressful and much easier, it's like I have a lot less time just because of the way my life is arranged. It seems like I have a lot less time to color now. But anyway, I'm working on fixing that. But so lately I would say sleeping, and when I actually get to indulge myself and color, that's nice. It's a nice thing to do. All right. So pampering myself. My favorite room in my house. Well, my house is new. I'm not like in love with the house. It's fine. It serves its purpose. I'm beyond the stage of being in love with houses now. It's just more a utilitarian thing. And you would think my favorite room would be like this room, my studio. But I like all the rooms. I like the bedroom. I like the studio. I like the living room. I like the dining room. I like the kitchen. I gotta say, I'm not into the bathroom so much because I don't like to clean a bathroom. But I don't really have a favorite. They're all fine. Okay. This is going to take a while. Number 17. Fictional world. I don't know, and I didn't write it down. So, favorite fictional world I think you want to live in was the question. All I wrote down was fictional world. Now, there are a lot of good fictional worlds. But the one I would like to live in, for purposes of living, as I think best quality of life, would probably be Star Trek. Because in Star Trek, they've given up money, they've given up hunger and war, even though it does seem like they go into battle every other week. But, the life on Earth is, I'd like to be living in that world. We don't have that in America, we can't even get health insurance. So, it's kind of sucky here. But other fictional worlds that, I don't know, I wouldn't, I'd like to visit and have an adventure in, but not live in, would be Hogwarts. That seems quite fun. Especially with all those, the guy with all the creatures, fantasy beasts or whatever. I want to go in that little fantasy beast habitat that he's got in his little suitcase, his little TARDIS suitcase thing. Middle Earth is a good one, and if I could be a Jedi training at the temple or something, or have some kind of Jedi adventure, I think Star Wars would be good too. Those would be my fictional worlds that I would want to travel and have an adventure in. I don't know that I'd want to live in those worlds, though. All right. Favorite takeout or delivery? Well, truth be told, I'm not a delivery person. I always go and get my food if I'm going to do it. But it would be Mexican food would probably be my all-time favorite, and was in Tucson. I love a nice crispy fried taco. The other favorite was Thai food. Now, having just moved, I haven't found. There's no Mexican. There's this stuff called Tex-Mex here. But that's not any kind of Mexican food I ever ate. I think it's like the white person version of Mexican food or something. I don't know. I don't care for it though. So I haven't found a good place to have Mexican food. I'm gonna have to. I think I need to buy one of those deep fryer things so I can make my own fried tacos. And I haven't yet found a Thai food place. Well, I found one when I lived in Oklahoma City, downtown, Bricktown. That was good. But, oh my gosh, it was so expensive for what you got. I'm just like, ooh, nice food, but I'm not going to be eating here because you get a little tiny amount for a huge price. There is one near me that I want to try, but I haven't yet. I walked in there one time and it was super busy, so I'm like, oh, I'll come back later. I haven't found that yet. So if I were living where I could get some, it would be Thai food and Mexican. But I haven't found that where I live yet. So, let's see. Your favorite flower. Okay, I don't even care about flowers. Number one, they smell bad. They're not going to come in my house because I don't like the smell, as you know I mentioned before with the whole scent thing. Oh, I do like the smell of cinnamon. Going back to a previous number. But I looked at flowers, and I like the shape and color of lavender, so we'll go with that. The orchids were interesting. I like those. Bird of Paradise is certainly very interesting. Otherwise, I don't know. I'm not really into flowers. It's not my thing. Number 20, a place to wander. I couldn't think of anything for that. I don't know. So I'm not going to answer that one. Okay. 21. Relationship advice. Yeah, I don't have any relationship advice. I don't know. Gosh. I'm not a relationship person, and I always wondered about that. But, then I found out I was autistic, and it's like, oh, now that makes sense. Okay. Mostly people drive me crazy. I don't want them in my house. It's like, you're in my space. Get out of my sanctuary, please. I'm sorry to be like that, but I guess I would want to marry my best friend. I guess. Someone that I could be totally myself with. Somebody who gets me. Somebody who's quiet and super clean, like Mr. Monk. I always thought he would make a good husband. He's like super clean. Or Mr. Spock. He would make a good husband. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to marry one of those. Like, the men I've dated, oh my God, some of them were like just pigs. In both sense of the word, bad behavior. There were those. But then like some were just so messy. It's like I can't live with you, or I can't date you because you're a freaking pig, man. Like, I'm not going to marry somebody who's like a second job. When you get home from work, you have to clean up after them, or they're a big baby and you have to take care of them. Yeah, I can't even do that. But yeah, I think sometime in my 30s, I'm just like, yeah, I'm happy being single. I'm good with that. So I don't know what relationship advice I would give. Maybe marry your best friend. I don't know. Who's clean and tidy and does stuff for you, is nice. Don't marry a jerk. Okay. We'll move on. Things you share, favorite thing you share with your significant other. Well, I did date a lot, so I, love to go out to eat. I love all kinds of different foods. So similar taste in foods, or adventurous in food eating, I guess, is a good one. I cannot respect somebody who's a picky eater. I just can't. That drove me crazy. If they were a picky eater, I'm like, I can't date you. Sorry. Someone who likes similar movies, or who at least liked to, we split. There was this one boyfriend, and sometimes he just blew me over. He's like, he would always plan. He was very good about planning the dates, But he took me to every like all these horribly boring foreign films, but I have to say that he really changed my outlook on boring foreign films, because now I like them. I like foreign films. And oh my god, it would be so stressful that I would have to read the words on the screen, and oh my god, some of these ones he took me to were just like, I wanted to fall asleep, But then, because he was very kind of highbrow and liked those kinds of things. He was very into writing in English and all that stuff. So, but then, he'd show up and we'd be going on a date, and he would say, we're going to go to Star Trek. I know you love Star Trek. And then after that, we're going to go to Mexican food. And I'd be like, and of course my heart would just melt, and like, oh, you love me. That one didn't work out though. But that one aspect of the relationship, there were many aspects of the relationship that didn't work, but that's kind of a measure, against which I measure all others. So, because he just had that I want to be fair. I want to be fair about it. Like, I'm going to drag you to the movies I want to see, but then, I'm also going to take you to the ones that you want to see, because at least he knew. So, some, like, don't even know. We've all had those, right? Okay. And I would say now, when I was young, it wouldn't have mattered because I didn't care, but now we need to share the same politics. But politics has become very, very diverse. Not diverse, that's not, like, two ends of a spectrum. So we need to share the same politics because, gosh, one side is just, like, gone crazy. Okay, so 23, favorite thing to annoy your significant other. If I did this, I can't remember what I would do to annoy them. I don't think I would try to do that. As an autistic person, mostly you're just trying to fit in and blend in and, do your mask, and not, the mask stays on, so you're not trying to do that to people. So, yeah, I couldn't think of anything. Number 24 is your favorite indulgence, which I feel like I already answered that when I said pamper yourself. Unless it's supposed to be food or something, I don't really know. But I think pampering myself and my favorite indulgence are pretty much the same thing. And the last thing, your favorite thing to do on your channel. Well, I really like when I came up with, maybe it's branding, maybe it's called branding, I don't know. When I came up with the robot report, and I'm going to toot my horn here a little bit, but it's like lots of people asked to do that similar kind of thing. So Maya started doing it. She called it her updates. And it's like taken off. Now, like, huge channels are doing it. I don't know if they know that I, like, started that. But, yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Some people actually know that I started it, and they ask, they're like, I want to do this. Can I do this? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. So, but I liked coming up with the robot report, and I like it to be catchy, and I like it to have like a theme that goes along with the whole robot thing. And most recently I came up with the whip blip, which I like that one a lot. It's where I can just work on whips and show different aspects of whips, because right now I have a lot of them. But I liked coming up with, you know, the rhymey thing that has to do with like computers and robots, the whip blip, the bites, things like that. So I like being creative in that way. Maybe I missed my call as a marketing person or something like that. I don't know. But that's it. That's all 25 questions. So hopefully the people I tagged will jump on and do it. And if you have a new channel or an old channel and you haven't been tagged and you want to be tagged, I tagged you. You're it. Go ahead and do it. Tell them Doodle sent you. And thank you, Jazzy Doodles, for coming up with the tag questions. That's awesome. And I appreciate your time. And this is what it's like, the care and feeding of your gouache. All right, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by. Live long and prosper. Bye-bye.